1, and we are back. Welcome back to Talk It Up, everybody. Today's guest, my boy, Dreece Smith. How you doing, my guy?
I'm good.
Good. Is it weird that I called you Dreece?
No.
Is it Dreece or Dreece?
Dreece.
Why is it Dreece, though?
It's just my a nickname.
I always knew you as Dreece, and I'm always like, did I know it wrong the whole time? Let me pull this up a little bit. Boom.
Right there.
Yeah. Anyways, man, how you doing, man? So for the people that don't know, I know you from basketball. We played basketball together at Cruces, even though you were a senior when I was a freshman. So I didn't actually play with you. I just played at Cruces High while you were playing there. Do you mind if I tell you a story real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first time I ever saw you, because and this is no shade on Gordo at all. I'm more closer to Gordo's era. He was 1 year older than me. So he was like the guy in high school basketball. So in middle school, everyone's like, you got to watch this guy Gordo play. I'd never seen him. I lived with Patrick Nieto at the time. And we went to the summer basketball camp at Cruces High. And he was like, dude, you'll see Gordo there. Like, he's so good. And he was. He was killing it. But I remember seeing you there, and no one had told me about you. And so I was watching, and you were just dunking on dudes, like just yakking on dudes. And you were so arrogant about it, like not in a good way, but you were just like, you were throwing the ball down, like I'm guarding, like on defense, offense, it didn't matter. And I just remember as this little like 5'10" white dude, like just staring at you. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and I remember looking at Patrick and I'm like, is that Gordo? Like, this is the guy you're hyping up. They're like, no, I don't even know who that guy is. That's Gordo. And Gordo was killing it too. But I'm like, why is no one talking about this dude? And you were so good, man. And that was my first impression of you. I'm like, God, this guy is so good, man.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. What a funny story. It's crazy how life works out when we all grow up and stuff. But yeah, I remember just thinking like, God, this guy's so good. And then of course I played there, and then watching you in games, man, you killed it. Was basketball like a pretty big part of your life growing up?
Yeah. It pretty much was my life.
Yeah, like from when you were a young kid?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know your dad played basketball too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hobbs?
Yeah, Hobbs.
Okay. And how far did he go playing basketball?
I think he played, almost got drafted, I believe. I know he finished up at Eastern, I believe, but he played against Michael Jordan when he was at Tulsa. Nolan Richardson was his coach.
Really?
Yeah, he still has some records at Hobbs.
Was he, do you have like childhood memories of your dad like playing basketball or like having you play basketball?
Honestly, the memory that I remember and I think about it a lot just because when I was coming in as a freshman, he just told me, he's like, either you're going to be good enough to play varsity or I'll cut you.
He was just straight up?
And I was just like...
Wait, how old were you when he told you that?
I was about to be a freshman.
So, all right, that's fair though.
You know what I'm saying? He just told me straight up. He's like, either you're going to be good or you're going to get cut.
Yeah.
From there on out, it was just basketball. I just was staying in the gym.
Did you feel the need to like be good because he said that?
I already felt the pressure.
Were you already good though?
Yeah.
You were good? Did you know you were good?
Yeah.
Because sometimes kids don't know.
Because, since I was little, he had me playing up. Like, when I was in second grade, I played with the fifth graders.
Okay. So you were already playing with the older kids, even at a younger age. Okay.
And, like, I had wars with Gordo before even people knew we knew each other. Like, I had been playing, Gordo went to Conley, and then I went to University Hills.
Well, Gordo went to Lynn, right? Oh, elementary.
In elementary.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we went to, like, 4 of 5 overtime game in elementary.
You too?
I mean, banging on these. Like, he had like 50, I had like 50. Yeah, it was like
damn. I never knew that story.
Yeah, like we played together. So when we got to Lynn, I would talk to him like, "Hey, you need to go cruises. I want to play with you." So then we just kind of
worked out.
Yeah,
that way.
But I've known them since like I was little.
And you're a year older than him, or two?
Two.
So when you went your freshman year at Cruces High School, did you play varsity?
I didn't. I got a little PT, but I played more JV, but then I started to get in at the end of the season.
Do you remember the cats that were like the dudes at Cruces back then? Like, who were the main guys when you were a freshman?
No.
That you remember?
His name's Blink. His name Eric. It's Eric. Let me see who else. Adrian Sierra, Luis Sierra, Kyle.
I don't know any of them.
Let me see. Brennan Jeffers.
Did
Tyson Ditmore.
Did Hawkins play there?
He was way
Brandon, right?
Yeah. He was like when I was in elementary.
Oh, okay.
It's older, but
I didn't realize he was that old.
Mm-hmm.
He's still balls.
Yeah. That's the first, like when I was that was the people I looked up, like David Hovey and Dietrich and all of them.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Like, who are the guys that you looked up to? Do you remember seeing those guys and be like, damn, I want to get like them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I would listen to them every Friday. I'd turn my radio on and I'd be tuned in.
Yeah. There you go, man.
Every Friday, is the AM station. I can't remember, but I would literally be in my room, like looking at the wall, listening to the game.
Yeah. Dude, that's badass, man. I remember, so I didn't play basketball at all, like my whole life, like, because I grew up in foster care. I played for the first time ever in 7th grade. Like, I never, like, touched a basketball in my life. And Patrick, I lived with him. I moved into his foster home, and he was super good.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, like, if I'm going to fit in, I'm going to have to do this.
Yeah.
So I started playing, and I was never, I'm not even, like, I'm completely honest with my, you know, sometimes older guys, like, man, if I could have been so great. And you're like, you know what I mean? And it's like, come on, like, sure. I'm not that guy. Like I am very, very aware of my level of ability on the basketball court. But what I do admire in myself was the fact that I wasn't good at all. And I remember thinking, I got to get good. Like, if I'm going to fit in on this team, I wanted to make the team because Patrick was going to make the team. And I got really good, like, over the summer and just, like, played hard. And I wasn't even that tall.
You grew.
Well, I grew sophomore year.
Yeah.
But even then I wasn't that, like, and I was skinny. I mean, everyone was. But I just, like, and I remember Patrick telling me, like, they're not going to let you play at Cruces High School if you can't make a left-handed layup. And I'm like, bro, like, I can't even, like, I can't do a lot of things with my left hand. Like, I was just like this left hand is stupid. Like, it might as well not be here. And so, like, I would literally, like, only go left. I would shoot jump shots left. I would only do layups left because I felt like I wasn't even going to get a look unless I knew how to do a left-hand layup. So then I remember that was, like, my big thing. Like, I'll never forget it. And I told Benji this story whenever he was on the podcast. I went to the summer camp, got busted smoking a cigarette by your dad on the way into the camp. It was my first cigarette ever, by the way. I'd never smoked a cigarette in my life. And, like, on the way into Cruces High, one of my foster brothers was like, do you want to smoke a cigarette? And I'm like, sure. Smoked, like, 2 drags, like, oh, this is gross. And as soon as I walk in, like, Benji and your dad were just like, you out there smoking cigarettes? And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I'm never spent all summer working on my left, man. There's, like, I forgot to learn how to not smoke cigarettes. And so I was so nervous, and he was like, just get in there and shoot. Like, they're cool. They're like, but, like, I was like, oh, I'm already not going to make the team. But I'll never.
First impression?
Yeah, it was literally the worst first impression you can have, man. And that's all it was. And then I ended up making the freshman team, and it was good from there. I ended up playing all 4 years of high school.
You did, huh?
But God, man, the ability to go from nothing to that, to me, it was super important. It showed me that I had a work ethic, is what it showed me older. Even though basketball ended up not being my thing I would go on to do, it showed me that, like, man, if you work really, really hard at something, like, you can at least get better to average. People always think I want to be great, which is good. But if you suck at something, like, and the goal is just to be average, like, that's also an option too. And, like, I worked really hard and got there, and it got me a lot of friends. It got me crazy to be friends with you. That's how I met you.
It's crazy how, like, you can go from freshman year and you see a kid from his junior year and he just blossoms. Yeah.
So when you look at yourself, because you mentioned, like, you played a little bit freshman year, when did you really, like, do you remember when you became a starter?
I think it was I don't know if it was a freshman year at district or my sophomore year. But it was my sophomore year when I really, like, started, like,
You were getting it?
Yeah, I was just starting to feel myself.
Do you remember the first time a college recruiter talked to you?
My sophomore year.
Was it sophomore year?
My dad I think Benj does too. They did a real good job of, like, getting us out to, like, Arizona State. Of course, my uncle was the head assistant, which he's now at TCU, but he was there, so we go to the Arizona State team camp. We go play at New Mexico State. They had that big team camp back then. And, like, we had, like, 4 different colleges that we go to team camps.
Mm-hmm.
So then the scouts are there. It's like pretty much AAU, but it was with your school. And they don't, like, they do that now, but they have that area 80, something in Albuquerque, but it's not, like, I don't think it's more as much exposure if you go, like, to the actual college team camp.
Got you.
Because the college coach is literally there, like, of the college, and then other colleges, of course. So it's like AAU, but with your team. So you're actually gelling with your team in the summer, and it helps you then just playing AAU with the rest of random guys. And when you get to the season, you don't got no playing time with your team, so it kind of messes up you in the season.
What did they tell you when these recruiters are talking to you? Do you remember? Like, were they telling you stuff like? Because I always wonder. I'm a huge NBA fan, huge basketball fan to this day. Are they telling you work on X, Y, and Z? Are they saying you're great at this? Are they trying to like get in your good graces, or are they trying to coach you? Like, what do they even tell you?
Like if they watch you, they'll tell you like what you need to work on. Pretty much, they ask a lot like what's your ACT score? Because if you don't have grades, and you probably that's their first question.
Yeah, is the grades.
Mm-hmm. Like what's your GPA, what's your ACT or SAT score, and then from there, then like have you take your ACT? And you're like, oh, I have a schedule. Okay, they'll keep going. But if you say no, I haven't taken it, and you have anything scheduled, just like you don't want to play college.
Do they ever give you things to work on, or is it more like I'll be watching? Like, what do they tell you?
Honestly, my dad and Ben's did a real good job of like helping me. So like as far as my game, it was pretty much polished. Like we did a lot of drills where it was easy to like transition, and like my dad would tell us, the whole team pretty much, you can't have 3 can'ts. So if you can't go left, you can't shoot right, or you can't shoot, you can't dribble. Like you can't have 3 can'ts.
You gotta get it down to 2.
Yeah, or 1.
0.
You know, or 0. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't have 3 can'ts, or you can't be on the court.
Do you remember your cants?
Probably like in high school.
I remember you shooting better senior year. I don't know. Was that something they told you to work on? I remember you shooting maybe not even better. You didn't shoot that much. And then I remember your senior year, you were just like pull up 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Is that something you did on purpose? Oh my God, there's a fly in the studio.
That's right.
Bro, how did they get in here?
It's right down the wall.
Oh, I can't even. There's no way we're getting. Did I get it, bro? No. Oh, damn it. I felt like Mr. Miyagi there for a moment.
You almost got it. I just felt like my senior year.
Try to get up on the mic.
My senior year, I felt like it was just like my turn to like take over.
Yeah.
So I just tried to do whatever I could to make sure we get the win.
And you guys didn't get the ultimate win. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember people crying, like, because I was in the stands. You know what I mean? I remember it was a big deal. Do you remember it being like, you really wanted that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think back to that? Is that something you ever look back on?
All the time.
What do you think about when you look back on it?
What could I have did better?
What do you think you could have done better?
Just take more shots.
Have you ever rewatched that, like the game clips?
I've honestly been trying to find my.
It's on a tape somewhere. It's not like nowadays where it's like
it's on a little.
It's like literally on someone's tape.
Because back then we had that cassette, and then you put the little thing inside of it.
Yes.
So I've been trying to find that because I have all my games, and my players would be like.
So you have the small cassette. Mm-hmm. You just don't have the big one. Oh, that's got to be hard to find.
So I'm trying to find. I don't know. I've literally been like even the newspaper articles because it was like a big thing back then.
But what about just your memory? Like thinking back to it, is it like, do you remember like, man, I wish I would have done X, Y, and Z better?
Honestly, like I recall the game, but I played so much after that it's kind of like I remember it, but at the same time it's like a
bro. This flies. I've never had a fly here. For those of you watching and listening, we're so far from outside. I don't know how he would have had in here. He would have had to travel. I kind of respect his grind right now. Like he had to get in the house and then like chill and then wait for one of us to open the door to get in here.
For us to start talking and start.
I hate him, on you. But I love his grind.
I remember. I think honestly, man, it was like we should have won. Honestly, the whole thing, but we're on a roll at one time where we had won like 16 in a row. And we didn't even know that. And then my dad said in the locker room. And then like after that, you could tell people we kind of like our egos kind of hit the roof. But we didn't even know until he said that. Because we were just playing basketball, having fun. Like we had worked hard this whole time for this, so we were ready. Like whatever he threw at us. And we had a pretty solid bunch where.
You guys had a really good team there. Yeah. You guys had Mark Guerrero, Philip Samuels, Gordo, Sean played that year, I think. Matt Morris was on that team.
John Radel.
Kenny was on that team, I think. Like, and I'm sure we're leaving some people off, but
Derek Staminos, Gilbert Moreno, Matt Baca. Let me see who else. I think, and we had this big 6'8" kid named Dennis, and he got in trouble.
We didn't talk about it on the podcast. Me and Benji talked about it last time.
Yeah,
that guy was good. But apparently he was getting in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, so he got in trouble. And then we had another kid that came from Houston. and he wasn't so good.
He wasn't good?
He was 6'9", and he was supposed to be good. But then
What was his name?
Brian?
I think that's the guy I remembered. So I was talking to Benji last time, and I'm like, I remember this giant, like, dude, but you guys never played him.
It was Dennis.
And he played in games, right?
No, that was Brian then.
It was no, because Dennis was the one that was really good.
Yeah, he didn't never play though. He got in trouble.
Baltimore. Yes.
He got in trouble.
So the other guy was, what was his name?
Brian.
Brian. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I think Benji was thinking, because he told me that story, and I'm like, because he was like, he never played in an actual game. I was like, I remember this guy playing in the game.
I ain't gonna lie. I think we're in Demi or somewhere. My dad tried to put him in, and he just didn't even go to the scoreboard. He just ran in.
I remember.
And after that, my dad's like, sit your ass down. Sit down.
He can't even check in right.
He got a violation. They were trying to give the guy the free throw the ball, and he ran to the free throw line.
I remember his parents. Like, I remember I was in the gym the day he showed up, and he was like a big deal. Like, whoever kills his fly first wins. He was like his parents came in, and I remember they're like courting him.
Yeah,
they're like, we'll see if we want to play here. And he was big, and so I was like, oh, like this guy must be good. And I don't think he started a single game. He came off the bench, and he had a few dunks in games. And at the time, you were pretty much the only other guy dunking.
Yeah,
probably in the whole state, if I had to guess. I may feel like Sullivan. I think Sullivan could dunk. Maybe one of the Salapecs. But it wasn't a thing that guys were doing.
And then on Alamo, you had Will Bynum,
who was a beast, by the way. Yes, he was good. Hobbs had another guy,
BJ Meredith, and
he had a guy that went to Vanderbilt, I think.
Taylor? You're talking about Jeff Taylor.
Taylor.
He was after me.
So he was more my age.
Yeah, but I know who you're talking about.
Yes,
and him and Gordo had a showdown in Hobbs.
Ooh, he had a showdown when I was playing for Oñate with Ayala. Ayala.
Yeah.
They went on, and Theus was at the game. It was a beautiful game. But that guy teabagged my teammate. Jared Belisic. Dude played with me on Oñate. He'll deny it. That's why I'm laughing. But because I was in the game when that happened, and I saw him drive the lane, and I knew he was gonna get it, and so I backed off, but Jared didn't, and he got him. Like he bodied him. But it was and it was one of those things like, he got you. I'm like, nah, bro, he got you. Like, coach was like, go play defense, or we're trying to figure out who he got. So to this day, I'll clown on him. But I swear I wasn't down there. It was Jared.
That's funny.
But that dude was good, man. Yeah, it's so crazy thinking back, man. So fill me in. I know you could fill me in long story, but give me the shorter version. So you you can answer this however you want, because I remember you had scholarships, man. Where did you end up going after high school? Did you take one of those scholarships?
Yapapai.
And then where's that?
In Arizona.
And how did that go when you went?
Man, it went good. I just had my first knee injury, but they sent me there to get other offers. So I was just going to go there like a...
Did you have your knee injury before you went there?
Mm-mm.
So it happened while you were there,
in
practice, before you even played a game. Yeah, I kind of remember that. I just wasn't sure. And then, so what happened from there?
Had the surgery.
Was it ACL? MCL?
Just my meniscus.
Meniscus.
Then I just rebuilt, you know what I'm saying, all the way back. And then decided to leave. I came back here and then was trying to do my little thing with state. And I don't remember what happened, but I just know Tony Benford that's at TCU, his son Jeremy Shore, he's now the head assistant at Hobbs, called me. He's like, hey, are you still playing? I'm like, yeah, working or whatever, I'll play. And then Chris Dunn's another kid from Hobbs. So they called and they're like, hey, you should come to Highlands. So then I went to Highlands and we did everything I could pretty much think of as far as college. We turned around the whole school and pretty much put Highlands on the map. And it was all New Mexico kids.
Highlands is where?
In Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, we had Four Albuquerque, Rio Rancho kid, Chris Newsom, which is still playing overseas, Ramon Andrade, kid from Dallas, kids from Philly. We had, but most of our kids, they literally handpicked people to come play, and we recruited each other and did something pretty special, honestly.
That's pretty awesome, man. And did you finish your years there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I know that you're a teacher now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so is that what your degree is in?
My bachelor's in business management and sales.
Yeah.
But I teach like here. I was teaching in Amarillo at a private school where I was actually a teacher, but since I got back here, they need subs so bad. I haven't really went and got a job teaching. I just do the subbing because.
So they just kind of call you up?
Well, you have that. It's kind of cool. You have an app and it shows you what school you can go to, and you pick the school and just kind of arrange how you want to arrange it. And it's kind of more free than being a teacher, where if you call in sick a couple times, you get canned. If you don't want to work that day on the app, you just don't click on it and you don't have to go to work.
So you just commit to like when you have available.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Ubering for teachers.
But I like to teach, so I literally try to go every.
What do you teach?
Over there, I taught 8 subjects in Amarillo.
Okay, so
in Texas.
What are the subjects? Like, what do you like teaching? Like, if you had your choice, if they're like, we had 10 teachers drop out because they're sick, what do you want to teach today, Dreece? You'd be like, sign me up for.
I like the math.
You like math?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I like the math just because I'm always been with numbers and stuff.
You're a numbers guy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't do it.
Then I like science. It's just interesting. Like after I started teaching it.
That's why I like science.
Yeah.
It's because I know nothing about it. So it's interesting. I can't do math, bro. Math like freaks me out.
Yeah.
Like, I do good at it, but I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I've never once left a math class thinking like
I got this.
Or even maybe that, but like I never left a math class thinking like I've grown. I always feel like, man, like you got to get your shit together, Will. Like it's like I just can't. Like I can do it. I just don't like it. I used to get like part of it I enjoy because I like the idea of like not being good at something and then like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I was saying earlier with basketball. And dude, I used to literally almost get high like in high school off of like math. I know it sounds like nerdy as shit because I was so bad at math, but I was so dedicated to getting my grade up that I would like lose my mind doing math problems. And I remember like just like literally like in my room by myself, this is dumb. It's a letter. How could it be a number? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like I'm never going to use this. And then I would come back. I'm like, all right, Will, focus. All right, if 2 trains are going at each other at 100 miles an hour, and then one, like, why would 2 trains ever be going at each other? Like I would just like lose my shit. All right, well, focus. It's not real. There's not actually 2 trains going at each other. It's a math problem. You need to figure this out. And like I would lose my mind. Like at the end I would figure it out. But I would be so into it.
Like, I took accounting classes and they were like,
is that how it was?
Well, you get your answer and then she'd be like, it's wrong. And I'm like, no, it's right. You got the right, you same answer I got. Well, you didn't do it my way.
Oh, it's like the show your work part. I never liked that either.
I should be like, I literally have, like, we'll take a test, right? And I have all the answers right. And she's like, well, I'm taking half points because you didn't solve it the way I solved it. I'm like, I got the right answer. She's like, well.
Yeah, I never liked that either.
Me either.
Yeah.
She's like, you got a 75. I'm like, no, I got 100. Like, I didn't miss it. Well, I'm marking points off. I'm like, what? I
figured out, and this isn't like my Rain Man moment, but I figured out how to do division in my head because it was so frustrating to do it on paper. And all through high school, I just did it like that. And when I got to college, they did the placement.
Yeah.
And same thing. They were like, you didn't show your thing. And I'm like, I don't know how to show what the fuck my brain did to like get this answer. Like, cause I don't do they do the
put the
curve.
chart out. Yeah.
I don't know that. Like, I don't know it at all. And it's like super important that you know that in college. And so I had to like relearn that. Even though I could do like all the long problems, like great.
If they don't show you your work, you think you're cheating or something.
Exactly. So I had to relearn how to do division the way they wanted me to do it. So fuck math is my point. Are you getting the vibe or what? Bro, I swear to God. I can't do it, man. I can't do it.
I taught trig geometry college in is it college algebra? Yeah, in college algebra.
Yeah.
And over there.
Do you enjoy it though? Like after hearing what I just said, like do you actually enjoy it? Or like when you hear me say that, are you like, that's funny? Or are you kind of like, are you on a different level? Like, do you actually get it? Or like, are you like, is it just something you're good at, but you don't
Honestly,
like it?
I started getting it more after I started teaching it.
Okay.
So like, I never, like, I like it, but it's just too much. But then when I start teaching it, kind of like, have to like actually like sit down and be like, I don't understand this. I go step by step and show them. So it kind of just makes you get a different type
view of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I hate math. Can't do it. Science I can do though. Like, I can do science.
And I did history and global government and I think it was world history and global history.
I could do those. I'm doing both this next semester in college. Yeah. Because I don't know about it and I'm actually interested in it. Those are the classes that I like where I'm like, I don't know anything at all, but I would like to like
learn.
Those are the ones where I'm like, even if I don't get a good grade in it, like I'm like, all right, I learned some shit. Like I can do those.
Yeah. I feel like you always gotta, like, it's always good to like learn and keep your brain moving. That's how I think I like teaching.
Yeah. Do you ever get frustrated though? What if there's like some dumbass kid? Can I say that anymore? It's 20. 20. All right, he's me. All right, I'll make fun of myself. Do you ever get a kid that's like, I don't know what you're talking about, Dreece? Like, do you ever like want to be like, bro, like you're like way behind all these other kids, or are you like pretty patient?
I'm pretty patient just because I can kind of relate to them because I was in high school. I was a good kid, but I have days where I didn't want to do nothing, so I kind of just like being teaching for so long kind of just helped me where I was at some of the tough schools in Texas, so it kind of made me where I'm kind of calm. As long as you don't be disrespectful or keep cussing or just nothing like that, I'm like, if you're really trying and trying to do your work, I'm going to help you. But if you're just not trying and being in discouragement, go office. I'm not going.
That's fair, man. I would do that with anyone, like in life. If you're not like showing effort,
Yeah.
like, why am I wasting my time if you're not?
Like when I was in Texas, I tell them, I was like, hey, I'm not here to fail y'all, but just give me some effort and I'll give you a C. I tell them, like, hey, just try. At least try to come 3 times a week and actually try, and I'll try to give you, like, I'm not just here to fail you.
Where do you think you got that from? That part of you that like respects the effort? If you had to guess. Because not everyone has that. Some people are like, you're wrong or you're right. A lot of teachers are. And so like, I always
it's because I've been with teachers, I guess, that have been like that. So
you learn from like what not to do from bad teachers. Yeah.
And I know, like, when I was a student, how I want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to see, and I take it, because the generation's different. So you got to talk to them different than back when we were in high school too, or even middle school, elementary. There's honestly, kids are softer.
They are. I remember those kids now are going to say that about their kids. Mm-hmm. The same way, like, I remember growing up, I'm like, what the fuck are my parents talking about? Like, it's not that crazy. We used to get hit by rulers. And like, I'm like, all right, like, that's crazy. Like, oh, well. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? And then now we're older. Like, and I find myself falling into that pattern sometimes where I'm like, kids nowadays don't know fill in the blank, right? And I bet the next generation will say the same
thing.
Yeah. But it's like, I definitely always... I always respect someone that puts an effort for something. Like, even now, like with my job, like if someone's trying, like that's good. You know what I mean? That's a really good thing. But someone that's just not even remotely interested, you're like, well, why? Like, why are we even having this conversation?
Yeah, I tell kids, like, because I was at the high school, so I literally tell kids, like, yeah, they'll just sit there and not do nothing. Like, I want to go home. I'm like, can I? I'm like, I don't care. Like, you're just taking up space. Like, that could be another kid in here. So go home. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, if you're not going to do nothing, go home, bro.
How many kids take you up on that offer?
None.
Yeah.
He used to get to work and then actually like look at me and they're like, all right, I'm going to try. Like, I had a kid that had a 58. And in 4 weeks, we got him to A and he walked. But I'm like, bro, why do you wait this long? He's like, can you help me? I'm like, I've been trying to help you all year. And now you see it's time to graduate. Now you want my, like, but I helped him pass. I'm just like, bro, you could have just been caught up like everyone else.
Why do you think he did so good at the end, though? You think he just kind of wanted it last second?
Yeah, it's just because it kind of hit him while his friends are about to walk and starting to get their coffin gown. He's not getting nothing, so he's like looking around. Like,
it's crazy what will motivate someone.
Starting to get real.
Yeah. I'll be the only one here. That was like one of my fears, too, is getting held back. We had 2 kids held back in 8th grade. Did you have kids held back growing up? And I remember thinking, that's not a thing. Like, cause I had a 0.0% in one of my classes in middle school, and they were like, "You have potential, Will Palmer." And Meeson at the time before I got adopted, and I'm like, "All right," and like they just passed me, and so I remember thinking like I fucked around this class all year, and they just passed me. And so when these kids got held back, I'm like, "What did you do? Did you like stab your teacher? Like, what did you do to get held back?"
Yeah,
and I think it was like from what I talked to, even with like Benji and like how he evaluates like stuff like that. It's I think it's more of like what you show, I guess.
Test scores.
Well, I would do good on tests, by the way. I just wouldn't do I wouldn't turn anything in.
So that's what it was because you didn't do your.
Yeah,
and you get a daily points every day. Like at least on my school, we got a daily points for every day that you did an assignment. So if you missed all those points for that week, you're already down 10. And then you take the test, which that's going to help you, but it's not going to replace that 10. So if you keep missing 10 and 10 and 10, then eventually...
But I straight up had a 0.
But you shouldn't have a 0, though.
I did have a 0. I had a 0 in middle school. Her name was Miss Massey. Like, I remember this straight up. Like, and it was a 0. And I did good on the end of the year test.
What school did you go
to? Zia Middle School.
Miss Massey. That sounds familiar.
She, and I hope maybe she's a listener. No, and I respect it, but it was in my biological family. It was before I got put in foster care. I had no interest in school. Like I liked school. I was very smart. I was very on it. I just didn't want to be in that class. And I was recently I'm very close to my adoptive family now, the ones that adopted me when I got into high school. And I was telling them recently that I would skip classes. And I think we were talking about like were you like, was the school hard? You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. There was a couple of kids in one class that I had. I was in an advanced class that I shouldn't have been in. I think whoever books the classes booked me in the wrong class. Because I didn't test in that class. Like I think they just put me in an advanced class and I didn't catch on to it. So I remember the first day of school. This is my sophomore year at Nyate, and I'm the new kid because I just transferred from Cruces. And I'm in this class, and it's like senior literature, like a reading, and they're all talking about this stuff, and I remember looking around the class, and everyone's like, like they're all into it, like that.
Oh, serious?
They're like, that's rather shallow and pedantic. Yeah, they're using words I ain't heard of yet.
You're like, get me out of here.
And I just remember thinking fuck, I should know this stuff. I felt dumb, and I was like, I didn't know that I was in this class that I shouldn't be a part of. And these there was this nerdy white dude that had these 3 chicks talking to him in the back. And they're like, oh my God, I love Walt Whitman or whatever, one of the poets. Yeah. And then I'm like, I don't even fucking know who that is. Yeah. And then these girls are into him. And there was a weird nerdy moment. And I remember thinking God, I've outlived my stay. I just don't know. I'm so far gone, I don't know this stuff. And then one of the dudes in the class started making fun of me because I didn't know some basic writing stuff. To them, basic. To me, I hadn't learned it yet. Yeah. And I was like, bro, I know that shit. It was just my ego. I just don't want to tell you. It was just one of those moments. And then I just started skipping that class because I'm like, fuck that class. So I would go in the stalls and out there. I'd fall asleep on the toilet paper holder. I'd just go there and lay my head down. And then I would just sleep. And then I would go to my next class. That's how it started. And then it turned into the next class was pretty bad. And then I would just skip school altogether because I'm like, why do I go there if I'm going to miss
Why even show up?
I was too smart for this literature class. So my survival instincts kicked in. And so I just would stop going. And then my foster dad found me one day walking on the side of the road. I think he expected me to have drugs or something on me. I was I had my backpack. I was just like clueless. I was all sunburned. I was fucking white as shit.
He's like, what the hell are you doing?
I almost wanted to lie. I'm I'm doing drugs. But I really was just this nerdy kid that thought he was too dumb for his reading class. Yeah. And I was just walking around and I had nowhere to go. I didn't have any friends. It was a new school. And he took me back. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get in there. And I just left again. And we were talking about it recently as an adult. And I was I just felt bullied in that class. And then I ended up going to the class because they made me. And then they were like, you shouldn't be in this class. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Finally, someone who gets me. And they're like, this is a senior class. And I'm like, that makes way more sense. And they put me in my actual class. And then I started going to class again. But I look back at that and I laugh. But it's I just literally remember, I didn't put it together. I think a normal person would have been like, oh, I'm in the wrong class. But I was just fuck me. I'm just these guys are just better than me. I'm a dud. I'm a dud in this class.
Now that you said that, thinking about skipping or whatever, I remember I had that food science class. And my house is right there by Cruces.
Food science?
Yeah.
Yeah, your house was by Cruces.
So I literally would not go to that class.
That's the best class, bro.
Ever. I'll go cook one day.
You guys made food in the class.
Yeah. So I literally made pancakes and French toast for the whole class. And she's like, you can go home. I just jumped the fence. And then sometimes I would just be at home. My dad would be like, he'll be getting home. Be like, what are you doing? I'm like,
Why did you just go home, though? I'm missing that part.
Because I just wanted not to be in school.
But you made food in the class, man. That's all the, I would be there. I would stay there.
It's just I live right there, and that class is right before basketball, so I'd be trying to like go lay down and just.
But was it that you didn't like the class, or you just
the class? The teacher was cool. It was all cool.
So you just knew you can get away with it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I jumped that fence, and then Gordo's house, of course, was right there.
Yep.
So I'd either be at Gordo's house or
you would go home.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get busted by your dad.
He'll come in and be like, "Boy, I know school ain't over."
And what'd you say?
I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was just they told us to just make up something." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm going back now."
Just grab the mayonnaise. They asked me to get some stuff from home.
And I just leave and go to Gordo's. I wouldn't go back to school. I just go to Gordo's house and chill.
He's like, "I know you're lying."
And my dad be like, "Boy, I just saw you. You didn't go. I saw you walk right to Gordo's." I'm like, "No, I jumped that fence. I went to and I'd be in the locker room. Like, I just didn't want to go to that class."
Yeah. That's funny, man.
Most of the teachers are cool. Like, they'll just be like...
Did you pass that class?
Yeah.
So she was super cool.
Yeah, like you know how in basketball, like we're like the talk around town. So the teacher, all the teachers were pretty cool. They're like, "Y'all better win." I'm like, "All right."
That's actually a great conversation. Do you ever remember getting special treatment because you're an athlete?
A lot.
Yeah. Besides the cooking class, can you think of anything else? Dude, I punked my middle school. And again, I just played basketball. I don't even think it was the fact that I played basketball, but it was my middle school math.
That subject.
But I remember his name too. His name was Mr. Monsomer. I'll never forget him. He looked like Walter White from Breaking Bad, but like he was just like all into math. Like, well, when you walked in, it was 7 degrees when you walked in. He was just, I'm like, all right, Mr. Monsomer, we get it. You sat down at quite a velocity there, Mr. Palmer. He was like really into math. And he was always trying to get me to do math. And I'm like, math is dumb. Like, because I was already frustrated with it. And I wanted to play basketball that year. It was 7th grade year, my first year, the year I told you about. And I had to get a progress report to play basketball. And I got decent grades in all my classes except for this class. I had an F. I had like a 52 or something. And it was mostly just me messing around in the class. And I went to get my paper signed that they give you. Your coach gives you this paper. Like,
to sign,
yes.
Class.
So I gave him the paper. And I knew I didn't have a passing grade. And he writes 52 on there. And I was like offended. I'm like, why would you write that? Like, it's like I didn't even think like that I'd earned that. Like, I was like, why would you write that? And he was just like, this is what you have in my class. You don't seem to be very engaged. And I was like, do you understand you're the only one that didn't give me a passing grade? If I don't play basketball this year, it's going to be because of you, Mr. Monsomer. And he was like kind of a bitch ass teacher. Like, it was weird. He was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, you're the only one that's not going to pass me. I need to pass. And he was like, what do you want from me? I need a passing grade, Mr. Monsomer. What do you want me to put? 70. He goes, all right. You know what? 72. And he goes, 72. Dude, he literally wrote it. And then he goes, you promise you'll be here on Monday? I'm like, I'm always here. Because I never ditched his class. I just didn't like participate. He wrote 72. He crossed out and like got rid of it and then put 72 and signed it. And I'm like, thank you. And like I played that year. But I'll never forget that. I remember I went home. I'm like, what else can I do? Is that power trip moment?
Got him.
What else? Yeah, got him. Got him, coach.
That's funny.
But I feel bad because he was such a nice guy. Again, older, more adult brain gets it. But at the time, I was like, I don't respect that guy.
Pass me.
Yeah. You really messed up.
I remember at Land, man, there was this teacher. I ain't gonna say her name, but
leave her out. Give the mic though.
She had like the worst breath I've ever smelled in my life.
Why do you know what your teacher's breath smells like?
It was she because I had like
was she yelling?
I was one of those kids that I had to like get help. So she was like my help person. She'll come by and she'll help the whole class. But I'm like, hey, help, help. So then she's helping me, and I just always smelled something. So then I told my mom, I was like, her breath smells bad, Mom. She's like, well, just tell her. Or she's like, just be nice. Or just tell her nicely. You know what I'm saying? So then one day I just had enough. So I bought a bag of peppermints with all the money I had in middle school.
You bought peppermints?
A bag. Put it in my bag.
Bro,
and just threw some on the floor. And she walked by and said, oh, there's some peppermints right there. You should get one.
Bro, that's not being nice. You did not do what your mom asked you to do, bro.
But look,
if your mom's listening to this right now, that's not what she meant.
That same day, she's like, do you need any help? She did that, bro. I threw up. Like, her breath was that bad, bro.
Oh.
Like, I literally threw up on my desk and then ran down the hall to the bathroom and threw up everywhere. And she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, your breath stinks. Because I was just...
Do you remember her reaction, though?
She's like, oh, get off. She turned real red. She's what?
I didn't do this, Smith. I didn't eat shit for breakfast. This is on you.
She had got horns, and the whole class laughed because everyone knew who I was. So I played sports in middle school, and they were like, oh, he got in trouble again. I'm like, bro, I didn't get in trouble. Her breath stinks. The principal was like, would you do anything different? I said, no, her breath stinks. Like, someone need to tell her that.
Did she have like multiple complaints? Like, were you the only one to say that?
No, all the kids would say it.
Okay.
Like, her breath was like funky, but she'd help.
Did they do like an investigation?
Smell her breath.
They're like bringing other kids in. Where were you last Wednesday?
Like, no other kids.
What did her breath smell like?
Any other kids, she'd be like on me, like close. Everyone else, she like, they're up here, and she said, but she tried to get to my level, and I'm just like,
do you think she liked you?
Yeah.
You think she liked breath mints?
No.
She didn't respond
well
when
she
you threw
brushed
them on
her
the
teeth
floor?
at all.
No?
She didn't take the breath. She didn't pick them up.
If you saw her today, do you think her breath smells good?
No.
She kept the same patterns?
Yeah, it probably still stinks.
Yeah.
I seen her at Walmart like...
That's a hard a
year ago. Like, it was probably 2 years ago, and I just walked the other way. I act like I didn't. You know what I mean?
I saw all the plants around her dying, and I figured I'd swerve from that.
But I just kept walking. I was just like, oh, shit. Hopefully she don't see me, because that breath is furious.
What a great story, dude.
I literally threw up. Like, I couldn't hold it no more.
I feel like we forget that teachers are people. We're talking about that earlier. Yeah. We're talking about cops a little bit, but also teachers like fall into that category. When you're young, they're like parents. They're just some parent that teaches you for 8 hours.
And that talks shit to you all day.
Yeah. So you're always like, oh, these are like authority figures. And when you get older, you realize like these are just people. And sometimes like teachers aren't good people. And clearly they're not good at hygiene either.
So that's what goes back to what you said earlier. Why do I act like that? It's because like I just try to be upfront with the kids and not sell them a dream. Even when I coach, I'm just like, shoot, if y'all want a scholarship, you can go get one. It's not easy. I'm not saying by any means, if you put the work in, you can get a scholarship. Yeah. And then you put your mind to, like, as far as like when I teach, I tell the kids, you can get on your phone, the iPad, and all that after you do my work. Get your work done, and I don't care what you do. Just don't look at porn.
And if you do, use a VPN.
I'll get in trouble with everything.
Are you in incognito mode, Jose? I told you.
And the kids, like the high school kids, will laugh. They're like, don't do what? I'm like, you can do everything on that computer. Just do not look at any porn, guys, and just start laughing.
Do they give the kids computers now? Mm-hmm. Bro, we never had that. I remember it was like a big deal when they gave like Picacho middle school computers when we were all in high school.
Yeah, here too. Everything's on
tablets.
Yeah, it's a site, modules, and like
so
all your works on.
It's almost like going to college online.
It gets you ready, honestly.
Yeah. What would you do if you had a kid? It maybe wrong or right, because you played basketball, you played sports, and he just like is bombing your class, like he's just not doing good. But then he came up to you and was like, "I need a good grade on this paper." What would you do?
Tell me he should have did his work.
Would you give him a good grade in hopes that he'll do well for the rest of the year?
It depends how far we are in the year. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If it's like the first progress report, he's an athlete and he's like, I need your help. Would you please help me? And I'm like, all right, but if you don't show any change, I'll tell your coach. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a chance.
Have you had to fail people before? Mm-hmm. And did the parents bitch at you or get mad? Or
honestly, complain? The whole time I taught in 3 years, I was the only teacher on campus that didn't have a kid fail. My passing rate was pretty high. Actually, there was some kids because COVID hit and it was online. Mm-hmm. So I had some kids fail, and the parent be like, well, one parent told me, could you call Daniel and tell him to do his work? And I'm like, can I do
Aren't
what?
You?
Yeah, I was like,
Aren't you his parent?
You're the dad. He's like, well, sometimes he gets real upset with me if I talk to him. So would you mind calling him? Because remember, I literally had to call 150 kids a day from COVID, like a day.
Really?
And tell them, because if they didn't do their work or show progress, I had like a whole screen set up at my house. Mm-hmm. So I'd look, and if there's no activity for a week, you're like, every day you got to call them or email the parents. Like, it was crazy. So then we had a timer too. So when you clock it, when you call the number, put the number in, and like shows you how long and it shows the office and records it. So you say you're doing your job.
That's wild, man. It's when I think about COVID, like it's crazy that we're one day going to look back at that and realize like what, like, you know how like our parents or like grandparents, like I was in Vietnam. You're like, shut up, grandpa. Like, like we're going to be the older people like COVID happened. Like that was some dumb shit they complained about for a few years. Like I feel like that's what it's going to like trend towards.
It was crazy because right before COVID, we had that big old in Texas, that snowstorm.
Oh, that was a big one. Houston got hit hard.
Yeah, like it was bad like over there, but for like 3 weeks, we didn't have like it was bad.
No power. Yeah. I played like Call of Duty online. Is that nerdy? Probably. And I played with a dude from Houston. Like he was in a random lobby, and he was telling me that he was like, dude, he was like, I just got power today, and the first thing I did was play Call of Duty. Like he was all about it, but he said that his water wasn't working.
Like,
it was a lot of stuff wasn't.
Pretty crazy. And then right after that, COVID, so we were just locked up more. So it was just like.
So that was like right after that, huh? Mm-hmm. Oh man, that's wild, man. Because you were out in Texas for a bit, huh?
Mm-hmm. 12 years.
Ooh, how'd you like it out there?
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just different. It kind of just made me look at things different.
In what way?
Just life. Like, Cruces, I can kind of say, like, we're kind of behind here. So just out there is just...
what do you mean behind? Like...
Just like...
like as a city in general?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they're working at it, but it's just like... They have Merch High, and Merch High's been here more, like, since we're in element. Like, they need to have more than just one activity center for kids.
So, like, community-wise.
Yeah, like, for youth. Like, that's what... When I look at stuff now, I just look at, like, they closed the bowling alley, and they wonder why kids are getting in trouble, but there's nothing for them to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And the only thing over there, though, I ain't gonna lie, there's stuff to do, but you gotta have money. So it's kind of like the same thing here, which pretty much, there's just pretty much saying there's nothing to do, because over there they have, like, the jump thing, and they have stuff, but it's like $50. So you're just like, and I was on the north, like the kids I work with is like Northside kids. They don't have money. So then they be getting in trouble because they don't have the money to do it, or they're trying to go get the money to do something.
Yeah.
But then here, there's just really nothing. But the good thing about here, there's El Paso.
Yeah, there's options. I remember, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because I remember thinking recently like about money. And I'm not by any means doing like amazing in life, right? I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But I'm doing way better than I grew up. Like I grew up homeless and then in foster care. Like I'm from Louisiana. Like I literally like lived in the worst neighborhood ever, and our house got burnt down, and that's how I ended up homeless, moving to El Paso and then the Cruces, and then going to Cruces High, and then smoking that cigarette that day that got me in trouble. like all those things led up to that, you know. But I always think back, like I'm doing pretty well, like decent. Like I don't check my bank account a lot. I can afford basic things like that seem basic to me now. Like kind of like what you said, like Topgolf is pretty expensive, and you usually go in a group, and there's usually this weird thing at the end where we're trying to figure out who owes who what, right? It's kind of expensive to play Topgolf, and I've only played like 2 or 3 times, but each time I remember at the end, I'm like, all right, like charge me for my part. But growing up, that would have been like a crazy ass thing to do, and so like I always like think back to like how important that is, like to be able to afford like a $50 outing. Like it's crazy. When I look back at some of my bank statements, I'm like, I blew some money on some dumb stuff that like back in the day, I like for sure would have needed that for gas money, for food, for some utility. Yeah. And so I never want to take, I never want to take that for granted. Yeah. I think I might do that sometimes. There's days where I wake up where I move on, but I always stop myself and I go, wait a minute, like let's remember like where you grew up, man. Like this is crazy that you even have the opportunity to do this. Let's be humble. Let's figure this stuff out. But I'll never forget what it's like to like $50 is like $1 million when I was growing up.
See, look, when I was little, it was around Christmas. I don't know if I was in elementary or middle school. So I made like $20. I don't know what I was doing. And on my whole family, they're all getting presents. So I wanted to go get presents. So I literally went to the garage sale and bought everybody a present. And my dad was like, boy, is that the picture from the garage sale? I got all of them.
I respect it.
You know what I'm saying? But it was just funny because they were just like, boy, we seen that at the garage. So I was like, no, I bought this at Dillard's.
You try to like play it off?
I got it at Target. Like, no. And like, they still have that picture. My mom still has it.
She still has it. Dude, what a great story. It's crazy what, like, even as a young kid, you know what I mean? You just want people to, like, have a good time.
Yeah.
I remember coming up on money young, and I guess I was like, I used to always think how weird it was that adults ate food. Like I remember that being a thing. Like I remember thinking I like candy, like Laffy Taffy, stuff like that. Like I remember thinking like, you guys are dumb. Like you guys have all this money and like you're just buying like chicken and rice and like ramen. You guys could have like Laffy Taffies and like Mike and Ike's, like, and Skittles. Like you guys are dumb. And when I grow up, I'm gonna have I used to fantasize. This is how poor I was. I used to, and I grew up in an abusive home, and I would stay in my room at night and like, because I work with that community now. Like, so I kind of work in a social work job. I work as a peer support. So I work with homeless people, foster kids, veterans, a lot of different demographics. But sometimes I'll work with people that will ask, like, what did you always think you'd make it out? Like, were you fantasizing about like just a meal? I'm like, nah, man. I used to fantasize about like a room full of candy, all my favorite candy. Like I literally would. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have so much candy, and all the adults aren't allowed in there. Like, they'll try to get in, I won't let them. Like they're not allowed in there. Like I literally like, and that was my thing. Like I wasn't like, it's funny now, but like at the time, like that was my. If someone asked, like, Will, make a business plan. I'm like, all right, first let's stock up this room full of candy. Like just in case the apocalypse happens. Yeah, like that was it. And then like it's crazy like to think about how the mindset changes when you grow up. But yeah, at the time I was like, I'll just get a bunch of candy, man. I thought it was weird that adults ate food. I'm like, you guys are dumb. Grandpa's diabetic. Well, Grandpa's a little bitch because candy is great. Like if he can't eat sugar, then he can't be a part of my hidden room. Like I just didn't get it. I was so clueless. Like I didn't get I didn't get fitness, nutrition, none of it, man.
Just eat candy all day.
That was my dream. That was my dream. You know what's funny is now that I'm an adult, I don't eat like sweets a lot.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, but when I was a kid, that was all I wanted to do.
Yeah, I always wanted to eat candy younger, but now I'm like, that dentist bill is tough when you eat too much candy.
It feels like an extra bill too. Yeah, you're like, oh, what am I doing?
Do I even want this?
Is this necessary?
Like yesterday, I ate an Oreo shake and I ate it, and then my stomach hurt. I was like, that's why I don't eat.
Did you get it from Sonic?
Jack in the Box.
They have an Oreo shake? It's pretty good.
And it's like large. Like they gave me like,
it's large? Because you asked for it to be large, Dreece.
I asked for it, but I paid for it after. Like my stomach was hurting. I'm like, man, I don't know why I got that shake and ate it like that. I was just killing the shit. You know what I'm saying? Just and after I'm like,
you're done.
Stomach hurts. I'm like, dang, I knew I shouldn't have got this stupid shake. I should have got a Sprite.
Do you remember being pretty strict on what you ate younger or no?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Lloyd Marshall? Mm-hmm. Big old black dude that went to Oñate? When I went to Oñate, we became good friends. He ends up being one of my best friends. He was my best man at my wedding. And I call him one day. He had just got out of the army. And I was working out.
Is he here?
He's in Phoenix. When he visits, we'll hit him up because he comes down every now and then. But I called him and I was like, hey, Lloyd, I'm trying to work out, man. Like, I'm done. I'm done with this life, man. I want to build some real muscle. Like, what do you think I should do? How do I work out? And he's a big jacked guy. He goes, hey, Will. I'm like, what's up? You know how they say like black people are just kind of strong? And I'm like, yeah? Well, that's true. He's like, all right. Like, so I have no shot. Like, so just like give up? Like, what the fuck are you trying to say, man? Like he had no advice for me. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't know, man. Like sometimes I don't do much and I just kind of look like this. Like
that is true though.
And I was like, all right, I respect it. Like he's just like, yeah, I just have like crazy genetics, man. And I'm like, all right, I'll just quit then.
Nice talk.
Thanks, man. I'll go do some white shit. I'm gonna go focus on this math and get high.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah, that was his advice to me.
Have you seen Booby Mouse? He didn't work out.
Oh man! Every time I hear that name, I think you ever listen to Big Crit?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, hip hop is so weird nowadays. But Big Crit to me is one of the greatest rappers to still. I've never heard him on the radio. I don't think he's maybe in Houston where he's from, like or Texas, right? Mm-hmm. Is he from Houston?
I know so.
Okay. But like he has that southern grit about him. You'll never hear him on the radio. But I remember like just thinking like this is the next big guy to blow. He never quite went there. But like God, that guy's so good, man. Like his style is. And I was born in Louisiana, so like I love that southern style. Yeah. But it just reminds me because he did a song about Booby Miles. But I don't think that was the name of the song though. But they play a clip from the song at the beginning. They play a clip from the movie at the beginning of the song.
Mojo.
Is that the name of the song?
No, that's the name of that movie.
Isn't it from the football movie?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what'd you say, Mojo?
Mm-hmm.
What's the...
It's Midland, Odessa. It's Odessa Permian.
So what's the... Do you know the Big Crit song I'm talking about, though?
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it, though, but I know what you're talking about.
Maybe that's what it's called.
Mojo?
I put Bug. Bug Crit. Bug ass Crit. It was like his first big song. Maybe it's just literally called Booby Miles. Hometown Hero. You ever heard this song? From the movie. This clip is?
Yeah, I hear it.
Oh,
Booby
Crit
Miles.
kills it. Hometown Hero. This is one of my favorite songs.
You didn't live. Come on, man. This is God gift. Only thing I got to do is just show up. A superhero in the flesh. Even at my worst.
I have heard this.
That was like one of my anthems, man. I thought Big Crit was like going to be the next thing to blow up. I think sometimes you get really good hip hop artists that just could blow up, but like just choose not to.
Fade away.
Well, maybe. Well, Texas was like the hot spot, like for hip hop for like 2-3 years running. They had Mike Jones, they
Slim
had Paul
Slug.
Wall, yeah, they had Slim Thug, they had Chameleonaire. Like it was like those Houston guys for sure, but Texas in general was blowing up, and then it kind of fell off a little bit. There was like a big run, and then it is what it is. I think hip hop is like I'm a huge hip hop fan, but it's like there's so many styles now that I can't keep up.
Yeah, it's not.
I feel like I'm turning into my parents in a lot of way because like there's sometimes like I feel like how growing up I'm like this guy's dope. Like when Wayne was doing his thing and they're like nah, like you got to listen to this old school stuff like Rakim and like all these guys and I'm like they're cool but they're not these guys. They're not Eminem. They're not Jay. They're not these guys. And then now we're doing that. These kids love these rappers and I'm like these guys are garbage.
They suck.
And then one day those are going to be the veterans.
Yeah, they're not. These guys are. They don't be talking about nothing.
That's true. I like to think that there will be a mixture of the two. I think there is. And I think people that do it well is J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. Those guys, Wale, if he does anything anytime soon, those guys do a great job of mixing in lyrical with
2 Chainz is pretty good at it too.
I never was a huge fan of him. But maybe someone told me one time that Kid Cudi was dope, and I'd only heard day and night. The lonely song just seemed to free, and I'm like, maybe. But then I heard his album. I'm like, this guy is good.
Yeah,
he was so good. Yeah. But like his mainstream stuff was not good to me. But he was so good. So like maybe that's how I feel about 2 Chainz.
I just gotta like his story because 2 Chainz should have went to the NBA too.
Oh really?
Like he's real good athlete.
There's some rappers that are like really good, like ballers, huh?
So I started like researching stuff, and I'm like, dang, that's probably why I like him because he's like 6'6". He be dunking like he can hoop. So I'm just like, I like this guy.
Who do you think is a rapper that could have hooped in college if they like pushed it? Cole for sure, huh?
Yeah. What's his name is playing overseas?
He's back. He did a concert. J. Cole was playing in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a concert. The only reason I know this is because of a TikTok he did. And he was like, man, I've been balling over there. It's my first concert back. Let's see if I still have it. And then he dropped Middle Child, and like the fans went nuts. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, that guy's so good. But he's good. They think that there was a scout talking about him, and they're like, if he had pursued it, he could have played in the NBA. They're like, at this point in his career, his peak is like the G League. Like they think he can play. Like he's that good, which is a compliment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's apparently the dude from Atlanta plays the Migos dude. I don't know if he's any good. I forget his name. Not the one that's with Cardi B, the other one.
The other one, yeah.
Apparently he's pretty good. Chris Brown supposedly is pretty good. I'm trying to think of other rappers that ball.
Drake.
Yeah.
He plays.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like good though, or is he just
his clips? He looked like he was hitting shots.
He was balling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other rappers, but maybe those are the ones. Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I think Justin Bieber played. I think.
Well, he played in a celebrity game. He played pretty good.
Yeah.
That dude has one eye now. Did you see that?
Yeah, they said he has to have surgery or something.
He has like a he had like a facial like seizure or something. I don't know. I saw a clip of him where like, half his face wasn't working.
He's drowning.
One eye was
like, it's crazy.
It was wild.
They said they have to have surgery or something.
That's what happens when you're famous young. These like famous young people like are out of their goddamn minds. Think I can give you a list of people that were super famous young and they ended up doing some crazy shit. Michael Jackson, Macaulay Culkin, Justin Bieber, Britney Spears.
Britney Spears is always posting naked pictures on the internet.
Exactly.
She's tripping.
Bro,
sometimes I'll be scrolling Instagram and it's just like what?
Well, she even posted a TikTok where she was like dancing on the beach, but it was like really weird. It wasn't like good. Like, and she was just like, ah, la, la, la. She looked like she was out of her mind. I think that you're not supposed to be that famous that young, like when you're developing. Bow Wow, I don't know how he's doing. Was he famous? Oh, yeah, he was pretty young in Fresh Prince. Huh? Yeah. He did stand up recently. Did you see that? Mm-mm. If you get bored, look up a YouTube special. It came out a week ago. He's with Dave Chappelle, which if you're going to do stand up, that's the guy to do it with. But he has him mentor him and he does stand up. He's like doing a show that's supposed to come out where he's like facing his fears. And
I hope someone goes on stage and slaps him.
I thought he was going to joke about it, bro. Like that's how like, yeah, I thought like, oh, he's doing stand up. He's going to joke about how he smacked probably one of the greatest stand up artists of all time. He never even brings it up. And he starts clowning on his own wife again. And then she's in the stands, like at the concert. And he freaks out and he's like, oh, she's right there. Like, I didn't think she would be here. And he changes his whole act. And I'm like, damn it, he's still doing it again. Like, he's still giving into that girl. I thought it was weird. Check it out and tell me what you think. But yeah, he did a stand-up thing where, and they do like the behind the scenes where like Chappelle's coaching him. Yeah.
He was always doing something. They're about to make Bad Boys 4.
I hope they do. Yeah. We deserve that.
Yeah,
before he gets canceled.
We need Friday too.
That's another one. Everyone's still alive, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Chris Tucker, is he still around? Still doing good?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy died.
Pops.
Yes. So they have to replace him.
Pops died.
Yeah, that's right. Damn it.
He did pass away.
That was like a big part of that show.
Yeah, he's funny as hell.
That'll be a good one if they bring it back. Oh man, we're getting close to the end, man. How do you feel?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Think we had a good episode?
Yeah.
Did you have fun talking about stuff? I had a blast, man. I think oh man, we're clowning on some math teachers. Hopefully you don't. If any of your students see it, be like, we get to do that. You don't get to do that. You respect me.
Change my grade.
I heard Will punked his teacher, so I'm going to do it too, bitch. Like, shut up. Yes, sir.
It's funny that my parents were teachers and they're just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I even tried to I was going to switch jobs and I just missed the classroom. I love the kids they cracked me up.
You can tell that you like it though. Like the way that you talk about it, like that's it's way more important that you do stuff like that than to do something different.
Like I'm like a big kid. We'll be at recess and I'm running with them playing tag. I'm just like, you guys are getting me tired. Like, we love you. We want you to come. I'm like, oh, I don't like to run every day, but we could all try.
I'm not a good hider.
The kids, I don't know. They're just because I'm K through 12, so I have every.
Yeah, you're mixed up then. Yeah, that's a good thing though. I bet
you have to change it up.
Yeah. The way that you approach different things, huh?
Yeah.
Because you'll teach an older kid way different than you teach a younger
kid.
Yeah,
older kids, you just, here's your work. And then younger kids, they need their nose blown and walk to the bathroom. But it's always, like, it's good. It's not bad. It's just, you just got to know they're going to need. And then, like, middle school is when the kids are starting to hit puberty and starting to, be bad. And one kid.
Let me see yourself. You know what? Never mind.
One kid, he pulled his junk out in class. Not in my class. And a female, 8th grade, 7th grade.
He pulled his wiener out?
Mm-hmm. And told the teacher suck his dick.
Told a teacher?
Yeah.
Aren't you his teacher?
I wasn't in that class. I was.
Oh, you just heard about it.
I was his coach. Oh, so she came and got me.
Did you make him run sprints?
After, when we got to practice, he ran until the sun was down for a whole week. I said, bet you keep your junk in your pants, buddy. Yeah. Like, it's not what we're doing here. He put his thing out. He's like, you should just suck my dick.
Bro.
And he tried to lie and say he didn't do it. But when he opened it, the camera caught him in the hallway. And the kids across, so girls seen him. So they're trying to press charges on him.
To this day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I don't know. He probably got charges pressed on him, but
Hopefully, keeps this personal.
oh, it wasn't even a hot teacher.
This is only a user amount of wiener.
A little bitty wiener.
Doesn't seem like you were out there slinging it around. We're going to go ahead and give you a misdemeanor ticket, sir. We're going to need you to check in with your teacher and your coach.
That's funny, bro. I'm like, what? I asked him, like, what are you thinking? He's just like, she's always just on my head. I just told her to suck my dick. I'm just like, okay, well, get on the line.
Kids these days, man.
Like,
That's where parents need to step in and be role models, man.
oh, that's what we're saying. I had a kid, another parent doing that COVID thing, and the dad was like, should I whoop him, or what do you think I should do with him?
He asked you?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. I just need him to do his homework.
Give me $5 and I'll tell you. Try to get some money out of it. $5, I'll raise your kid.
Give me some, you know what I'm saying? Give me some money and I'll whoop him for you.
I'll set some people up, man.
And that's another one. He's like, yeah, he gets real angry with me when I try to whoop him. I'm just like, bro, that sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, that sounds like a dad ass problem.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, yeah, what do you think I should do with him? I'm like, I don't know. Whoop him? Ground him? I don't know. What do you do with him?
Have you tried a seance?
He's like, yeah, maybe you should just call his cell phone. Because he gets mad at me. I'm just like, oh, it makes sense why he's not doing his work then.
Yeah, I think I figured it out.
The dad's scared of him.
All right, my guy. We're going to wrap this up, my brother. Thank you so much for coming
Yes,
down.
sir.
You had fun?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Dreece Smith, my guy. We are out.